And we're back. So welcome back to day -1, I guess, if we're calling Monday day 0 of E3. So I'm here with Neil and Carmine, and we're going to be talking basically Nintendo's history at E3, since this is the first year that I think ever that they haven't really had a full presence at the show.
Yeah.
As far
I
as they
mean,
don't have any sort of digital event or press
mhm.
conference. Obviously, they haven't done those in years, but
Well, we say that they have a booth. If you've gone to GDC, sometimes it feels like, is Nintendo here? I don't think they were. Did they have an actual booth you could walk to at last GDC? I don't think so. So they're still at E3. They just don't. They're just not there with 1 hour event. Block out your time.
Yeah. Well, instead it's multiple hours through a Treehouse Live, which we still don't really know how long that's going to be,
Yeah,
which is
they
kind of
might
unnerving.
announce all new content for another thing. So
Yeah, because I think I've been trying to sleuth out how long that Treehouse Live is going to be on Tuesday morning, and I think it might be 2 hours,
hmm.
or it might be 2 hours of main stuff, and then maybe they'll repeat it or something. Because I know I heard IGN has a their post show for Nintendo is going to be 2 hours after Treehouse Live, I believe. Maybe, I don't
Oh,
know.
that's an interesting thing. But there isn't Treehouse supposed to be like all games? They're showcasing what, 5 games on Tuesday? I thought I saw something saying that. I might be wrong.
That's
the
Wednesday.
yeah, the Wednesday is they're going to have Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Dragon Quest 7, uh, Monster Hunter Generations, and more.
Well, you need more than well, if they actually want to talk about each of those things, you need more than 2 hours to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be
The
on
way
Wednesday.
Treehouse Live works, because unlike a presser, Treehouse Live is we're sitting here, we're actually playing the game.
Yeah.
The fastest you could get through that is like 30 minutes, the way they do it.
Um, I think. What was I going to say? No. So Tuesday is going to kick off with the first gameplay of Pokemon Sun and Moon at 9 a.m. Pacific time, so 12 noon Eastern, and then that will go into Zelda Wii U, and I think that will be about 2 hours long, something like that. Maybe there will be something else later in the day. I have no idea. Then Wednesday that's going to be the day where they show off other games. It's going to start off at 10 a.m. Pacific when the show floor opens with a Pokemon Go Q&A, and then they're going to show Dragon Quest 7, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Monster Hunter Generations, and hopefully a few other games like, I don't know, Metroid Prime Federation Force, Rhythm Heaven, stuff like that.
So, speaking about like history, is this the end of an era for you, Neil, where like this is an E3 where you're not actually going to be there?
This is the first E3. I guess so. I've been a part of this site for 9 years. This will be the second E3 I ever missed. The first one that I missed was when I was on staff for 3 months. So this is weird. This is really weird. Pretty much most of my my 20s, I've gone to an E3 every year, and it ends now.
Mhm.
It's
And yeah,
weird. It hasn't settled in.
yeah, this is the only the second year I've been on staff for an E3, and I was originally slated to go, but well, we got some friendly advice that you maybe don't want to fly out if you have to pay for it. So
Yeah.
I and honestly, this is probably gonna be a running theme for me through most of the week, but I don't know if I'm gonna get another chance.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where E3 goes from here.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is I mean, it's weird because at the end of the day, it's kind of like same as it ever was. But I'm honestly, there's part of me that's like, I want to see the show floor because
Like,
Activision's not there, Disney's not there, EA's not there. I don't know what I always mix them up. South Hall. I don't know what South Hall even looks like.
uh-huh.
Right? I always get the two mixed up. West Hall is the one with Nintendo in it, I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
The third party hall.
I my first E3, I've only been to like a couple, but I was at E3 2006,
Which was insane.
which was the biggest it had ever been, which is why after that everything started like, changing
Yeah.
drastically. But E3 2006 was really, it was a circus. It was loud, it was crazy, it was busy, there were crowds, there were lights, and it was it's definitely like the high point of E3 craziness, I guess, if you want to talk about conference size and how much of hype there was. Uh, I went back a couple years later, I think for 2008. I can't remember.
Yeah. I think you were at the weird. So E3 2006 was the last one of like that era, where
Yeah.
that was like huge. That was the Wii reveal, or I mean, well, it wasn't the reveal. Oh,
It
yeah, it
was the
was
one
when they
where they had
revealed the
those
name. They
3 hour
revealed the
lines.
name at that show, right?
No, it
No,
was
no, no. I wasn't.
they did it a couple weeks before so that everybody could get it out of their system before E3.
Yeah, because the
Yeah, so we did
controller
go
I think
running
was
down the
revealed.
halls, shouting it out at the top of our lungs, which what happened at my college.
Yeah. But yeah, so E3 2006 was the last one like of that era that's similar to how it has been the past couple of years. 2007 2007 was the weird Santa Monica year, which I think that was the year where there wasn't. I think there was like a small show floor, but it was a lot of like appointments all over the place and like
Hotel
outside
rooms.
of LA. Yeah,
It
and then
sounded rough.
2008, and I know Carmine, that's the one because I was on staff for that one. I remember that, and I think like Johnny and TYP said it was like their favorite E3 because it was just so much more low key.
Oh, I get that. It's just funny hearing you saying that because that was the E3 where they unveiled like Wii Music,
Oh god,
and I remember after
balance
that
board
everyone was
stuff.
driving back, and I was in a car full of angry Nintendo fans, and I felt like if I smiled because I really wanted to smile because I still love Wii Music, they would have torn me to shreds. I felt I was in a little bit of physical danger there from being like torn apart by rabid fanboys. Um, E3 does that to people, I guess. You know, it's like just like we just watched the EA one, and we walk away saying, "Oh, those look like good games," but for some reason we're not happy with the conference.
Yeah.
When's the last? I mean, you've actually been watching a couple Nintendo conferences over, Neil. What do you think happens when you're
2010.
watching
2010 is an immaculate conference for
an
Nintendo.
immaculate conference?
Like well no, okay. It's got a few weird things. They had the unfortunate issue with not Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword with the technical issues.
Uh-huh.
When it was demoing it, which it's like, no, like you had the content. Like they unveiled, it was the first time Skyward Sword was playable. Miyamoto was on stage doing it. You could also kind of tell that probably one of the reasons why they eventually went to the direct format is that I don't know if it was like Miyamoto going off script or something, but like Miyamoto talking about the game while playing it, it seemed like Bill Trinen was having a hard time like accurately relaying what he was saying.
Mm. It's like that live format.
Yeah.
These, live demos are always problematic.
Yeah. And then E3 2010 also.
That was
I would say three negatives. So first, the Skyward Sword technical issue. Second, Wii Party. It's weird watching that because you can tell that like they're like Wii Party's going to be the next Wii Play. It's going to sell millions, and then it didn't. And it was super underwhelming. I remember I played that demo that year on the last day because it was completely empty, and I was just like, well, might as well. And that's a fun game. It's just that it wasn't as big as I think Nintendo might have hoped it might have been. And the last part is the 3DS carrying ladies that just came out of like every crevice of the Nokia Theater.
Wait. Let's just put something on the record. Wikipedia is not the best. Well, I mean, so I'm looking at it, and Nintendo, they're sourcing Nintendo for this. Wii Party sold 9.22 million copies worldwide.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it did very well.
So let's put it in context.
But-
Wii Party did not change the conversation. It
How
sold
many-
a lot of units, but it did not win over any hearts.
Let's say, now I'm curious.
We played it what 4 times that?
Well, I mean, to put it in perspective, Wii Music
we
moved
play.
around.
I know VG Charts is not always copacetic with this stuff,
Yes.
but VG Charts does have it at 29 million, and I think if I poked around more, I'd be able to find a more exact number.
Yeah.
I think it's out there, but like I think we play 20 million easy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's up there. And
I
remember
mean,
looking-
We Party did well. It's just that, yeah, I mean, you're right. It didn't change the conversation, but it wasn't a bomb. It was just that, like,
when
it
you're
fell-
at an
it
E3
fell
conference,
flat at that show.
Yeah, when you're at an E3 conference and you want there to be like megaton bombs dropping, Wii Party is not the game you're sitting there waiting to
Yeah.
see, which is
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, and looking at the Nintendo's official investor relations page, they've got 28 million down for Wii Play.
Okay.
So,
So
so
VG
it
Charts is
didn't
only
work.
off by like 1 million. So
For those
um,
guys, that's
that's pretty
reasonably
good.
accurate. Yeah. But I mean, 2010. The thing is, they had those little down moments, but that was the last year that Nintendo really nailed it because everything else in there. I mean, you had
Yeah.
Zelda.
Well,
Technical issues
let's
aside, you had
I want
Zelda.
to reflecting on 2010. Started off with Skyward Sword. Kid Icarus Uprising got announced. They showed more Metroid Other M. Announced Kirby's Epic Yarn. Donkey Kong Country Returns. Golden Sun Dark Dawn was there. Uh,
Dragon
was
Quest
that?
Nine.
Yeah, Dragon Quest 9. I think that was mostly all of it. And then the 3DS. And then
Yeah.
2011 is just a weird 2011 is fine until they announce the Wii U.
So
Yeah.
That's what it is because
Yeah.
2011 Luigi's Mansion 2, Mario Kart 7, um, what else was Star Fox 64 3D, Super Mario 3D Land. Like the 3DS part of 2011 was great. It was everything else was really crappy.
Yeah. Because my theory with E3s ever since the Wii debut one in 2006 that they go down and then they go up and then they go down again every couple of years. So, like 2006 was amazing because that is basically what sold the Wii, that and a little thing called $599.
Yeah.
2007, yeah,
yeah,
and giant enemy crabs. So 2007 you had like Mario Kart and Wii Fit, which God, those both did insane numbers. And then you have 2008, which Robbie Drums and Cammy Dunaway standing up, crying about a broken
Poor
arm.
Cammy Dunaway. She's
Yeah,
a very nice woman. Very unfortunate what she had to do.
yeah, yeah. And then I mean, it goes back up to 9, and then we have 10, which had the last good Penny Arcade comic about it, which basically involves Santa Claus in Nintendo's booth doing things that are probably illegal in public. And then you have 2011, that weird show, and then it goes down again to 2012, which is about the worst possible press conference to
Yeah,
have.
that one I haven't rewatched, but I think E3 2012 for Nintendo, which was their last on stage one that we've seen, and I think it's a good case for why we'll never see them do it again. Because 2012 is, I think, they didn't know what to do with the Wii U, and they figured like third parties, kids like third parties, right? But they didn't really have the third party content to justify that. Like it was a big deal that Batman Arkham City, a game that came out the previous year, was being ported to Wii U. Like, and it sucks because I don't think that I still like the Wii U launch lineup is still pretty solid. I just think it's the way that Nintendo presented it. It didn't work.
well, I mean, we can't just keep saying these games are solid. It's just the way we presented it because that's how we complain about every E3 conference and everything. It's then presentation is a big deal, but I think the thing about that is really with the Wii U, they just couldn't be where they wanted. They didn't have the. I mean, they they launched with like this third party lineup, but like you're saying, looking back with 2020 hindsight, I mean that nothing changed the conversation.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
then
guess, and I will reiterate. I think a lot of the third-party content that came out at the Wii U launch was uninspired and old. I just think that like New Super Mario Brothers U, Nintendo Land, Zombie U, like those are three really great games that I think a lot of launches for most consoles
would
would
love
want
to
to have.
Yeah.
But they
Mario,
weren't enough.
I'll say the Mario and Sonic racing game also was really
Oh yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. Or
Yeah.
Sonic and Sega All Stars. It wasn't Mario and Sonic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, well, that game is fabulously buggy, but they did fix it.
Yeah.
I remember trying to play. I think that I actually did a Wii U live stream shortly after it launched, and playing multiplayer in Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing before they updated it would often start with race begins, everybody falls through the ground, race is over. But they did fix that. I did go in and like play some of those same things that triggered crap, and it worked fine.
so I think
Yeah.
that like after that and Nintendo like really being in like this position where they have limited resources and they have limited things they can show. That's why, yeah, I totally agree with moving to the Nintendo Direct format. And in some
Yeah.
ways, I enjoy the Nintendo Direct format more as someone who's going to play the games because they move at their own pace. They usually show way more game because they're not talking to investors at that point. They're talking to you as the
Yeah.
gamer and saying, "Here, we'll show you. We won't just say the marketing bullet points. I mean, they'll say it, but they'll get into it usually." So I mean, I'm a big fan of the Nintendo Direct format, and like, if Nintendo's not going to have an E3 press conference officially, the Nintendo Direct to me feels perfectly acceptable in terms of like getting my hour of presentation.
Yeah,
And it was
and
interesting. It was interesting when they moved to the direct format with 2013. That like I think that direct that they had that day, and just really their entire presentation of things at E3 2013. Which for people who don't remember, so they had the direct in the morning. That was really the stream was terrible. It
this
was
is
like that. That
before
was
Oh yeah,
this
I
is
remember
before
this. Yeah.
Twitch and
that was
YouTube.
not great. And unfortunately, I think that was. I think the way that I view that direct in retrospect has a lot more to do with the negative reaction that I felt while trying to watch it and struggling to watch it. I feel like a broken record at this point, but there were good games in E3 2013. There was nothing that really surprised me outside of Mega Man and Wii Fit Trainer for Smash Brothers. But like Mario Kart 8, that was a Mario Kart game. Super Mario 3D World, that was 3D Land with 4 players on Wii U. Donkey Kong
And
Country
they
Tropical Freeze was a sequel.
yeah,
Link Between Worlds, I didn't know that Link Between Worlds was going to blow my fucking mind.
hmm.
But you're just like, all right, this is Link to the Past 2. It was a lot of like remakes and half steps and nothing that like I wanted more Nintendo Land. Apparently, no one else did. So.
Well,
And
what
I
is
mean, Nintendo, they had said in that January 2013, please buy the Wii U for the love of God direct, that they were going to have a new information on Mario Kart and a new Mario at
Yeah.
E3. So that those were sort of known quantities coming in. And as much as I love Tropical Freeze, there's a sizable portion of the fan base that was about ready to riot because it was Retro's next game, whether or
Yeah.
not they chose to make it.
The funny part was that I think Retro had tweeted or said something ahead of that where they had said, we can't talk about the next game that we're making, but it's one that everyone wants us to make. And so everybody was just like, oh, it's Metroid Prime 4 because that's what everyone wants Metroid to
no,
make.
don't
And then it's
community
and then
off on what they want.
it's Donkey Kong, and everybody's like, you didn't know what we wanted. Like,
Speak for
it
speak
wasn't
for
enough.
yourself. I think I fist pumped when I saw the 30 seconds of pixels of that
No.
game.
No, that's a great game. I think it's one of the most underrated platformers ever. Like, I absolutely love Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but it was not what people wanted.
I
Why does Nintendo?
never finished it.
Why does Nintendo come to like E3 with games that sell millions of copies and that we end up loving, and we don't like watching it at E3?
Because I just want to play it. like in all honesty, like, and maybe this is just me being like a jaded shitbag. Like I don't know, but like over the years, I have like I distinctly remember, and this is probably if there was a time where I ever got jaded with how I care and report about Nintendo, it was E3 2012 or 2011. When did Skyward Sword come out? 2011.
Yeah.
It was that year. E3 2011. So I played the Skyward Sword demo at E3 2010. E3 2011, it was the Wii U was first unveiled, those great 3DS games. Skyward Sword was there with a bigger demo, and I didn't wind up playing that until like day 2 or 3. And it wasn't that I didn't care; it was just that I'm like, no, I want to play the final game. Like this looks nice, that's great. I just want to play the finished game, and I've kind of adopted that as how I feel about a lot of games, unless it's something like Star Fox Zero was a demo last year at E3 that I devoured because it was really interesting. Like however you ultimately feel about the control scheme, they tried something new, and that was really fun to play. Whereas, honestly, at E3 last year, I didn't play as much Mario Maker. I like sat down and played some of the levels that they had there. I'm like, all right, yeah, this will be great. I'm excited to play the final game. And I didn't play it at E3 2015 that much. Yet, despite the fact that I spent more time with Star Fox Zero last year than I did Mario Maker, I have probably spent, I don't know, 3 to 4 times as much time on Mario Maker in the final version than I did with Star Fox Zero. Even though
That's
playing
the
demos,
nature
I
of
probably
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Mario
But
Maker
I
is
mean,
designed to be
even still, like
active.
I probably put 30 to 40 hours in the Mario Maker. I put like 10 into Star Fox Zero. And that's not because like, oh, I needed to roll credits on Mario Maker. That's because I had more fun playing Mario Maker.
You didn't need to roll credits on Mario Maker. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, like even 2012, that the best game that was announced at E3 that year wasn't even in the main press conference, nor in the little 3DS showcase they did that year. It slipped out to Jason Schreier of Kotaku when he asked Reggie about, hey, where's Fire Emblem Awakening?
Hey, I was literally right next to that.
Actually,
I was part of the people laughing as Reggie was like, "Oh shit."
Oh wait, that wasn't in the video.
People are talking about this in the chat right now, and I went and sought it out. Apparently, the E3 Nintendo badge lanyard looks like it's pretty clear evidence that there's 2 genders for Link.
Oh,
We got
sweet.
2 links.
Here, I'll send you.
Oh, snap! Yes, I see it. Well, I see something on Twitter.
Yeah. I posted it in our chat. I can't. Unfortunately, you can't post links in the YouTube chat, so you'll have to find it yourself.
I
mean, looking at that, like that is, like the hooded one looks like she has longer hair.
Yeah, it's really subtle because you don't have a full figure. You just have like the shot of the face and a little bit of the hood and a little bit of the shoulder. Looks like a different haircut. Looks like a different facial structure. Yeah, I think that is different. She's got a different nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
So
we have genders.
Guys, we're gonna find out so much about the new Zelda in 2 days.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
If we have
But
usable genders, what is everybody picking?
I'd probably go female.
female.
Yeah. It's not a hard and fast rule that I've come upon now. Like in Xenoblade Chronicles X, I made a female character and named it after my wife because I figured if I'm gonna be playing a mostly nameless character through most of this, I'll just pretend to be my wife kicking ass. Like and that was fun. Had a good time. And also there was so I think it was. I was only like we were still in college. It was when Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out. I got Pokemon. I made my character, named him Neil. Got my starter, named it after my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, and told her this, and she got really pissed off at me, being like, "I'm like the fucking Chimchar, like really?" So then, since then, when I play Pokemon games, I named the trader Lauren to fit their gender.
You've learned.
Yes, and I named the Pokemon after our animals. So yeah.
You chose
But
wisely.
I mean, it's like I don't know, like it's kind of whatever character design I like more is generally what I go with, and it really depends on the game. It's not a hard and fast rule, although I think at this point with all the hoopla over it, I'll probably pick a female character more often than not if I have the option.
I think it's a really interesting thing to argue about, given that in the first Zelda you have to name your save file Zelda as the player in order to unlock the second quest. So it's like we've been trying to do female Link since the very first Zelda, so I don't see what the big deal is. It'll just be like a flip of the coin. I'm like, which gender? Okay. I mean, it's not.
Emily was
she's
right.
not going to have. She's not going to have voice acting anyways. So.
Yeah, other than the there'll be that. They'll have to record different voice actors for that.
Would they really? I mean, Link's
Well,
the
It
yeah,
sound
the
it's so
screams sound pretty
androgynous.
feminine.
true.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's pretty androgynous. That's why even the picture, I'm like, I had to look at it and make sure I wasn't just seeing things that my mind was creating.
Yeah, I guess I'm just used to like other games recording different like audio for selectable male or female.
Maybe they will. I wouldn't put it past them.
Did Linkle have a different voice actor than Link in Hyrule
Yeah,
Warriors?
I mean, Linkle is like a totally
A
different
totally
character.
different character. Linkle is not female Link. Linkle is
No,
Linkle.
I know, but like
Yeah.
they built her up as if she was
I'll be
female.
honest. Having
Oh, we
actually,
built her up like that.
yeah,
They just said, here's Linkle.
I cracked open Hyrule Warriors Legends for the first time in a while because I love that game, but I kind of don't like Linkle's story. Like she's just kind of a ditz. Like it's just like I like playing as her. Like she's awesome in that game. She's got crossbows that throws bombs and shit. It's great, but
She can't read a map.
yeah, like it just like this. Like the only reason why I like her story is because she's really fun to play as. I don't really like, although I don't think Hyrule Warriors Legends is really like the paramount of like, here's some great storytelling, guys.
Oh,
Now, if you can't tell, that the big boob sorceress, she wants Link's heart. Like, I'm not playing Hyrule Warriors Legends because like I can't wait to see what happens at the end. If I was filling out my Club Nintendo series or my Club Nintendo survey, I would not put like I'm playing it for the story. I would be like I like the gameplay and the series. That's why I'm in.
yeah.
So I should probably go and get my Wii U upstairs so that way I can stream some Tokyo Mirage sessions. Since that is next on the agenda in 4 minutes, which will not be ready in 4 minutes. So, and this is more to you guys, but what I mean, I'm probably going to leave and then let you guys talk for longer while I go set up. But what we could do with that is you dudes could go on Skype and we could continue talking about stuff as I'm playing Tokyo Mirage sessions, if that works for people.
Okay.
So I'm going to go for now and go set that up.
Sounds good.
Yay, E3, that's Zelda, man. Zelda. I'm so ready for
Pokemon.
And we've only had like,
Pokemon.
oh my god, Zelda's crazy because we've only had what the two images and a lanyard. That's
And
that's
inspiring.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the only thing we've had for what 2 years.
They've gotten to the point where like they could literally just have released like a little bit of artwork. Like they could have just shown us like a picture of the boomerang, and people would go nuts. Like Game Explain would create like a 30-minute video.
And maybe that's like
how different the boomerang is.
like I think that as we get closer to the final reveal, and I have the worry in the back of my mind that like what if it just comes out and it's just like, oh, it's a Zelda game and that's it, like.
Yeah.
Like it'll like I'm still gonna play it, but like what if it isn't?
Well, I mean,
what if it isn't mind blowing? Like because at this point, with how it's built up, I think in order for Nintendo to be like, we did a good E3, like Zelda Wii U needs to be gigantic, which is what they're setting it up to be.
well, I mean, it has to be gigantic. They've worked on it for so long. They've invested so much money. It's a prestige brand for them.
Yep.
You know, Zelda it has to be that. Otherwise, why are you spending so much time on it? Go and make more Wii Party games, you know, with all those resources.
No, I think you bring up something really good. Like, let's talk about like some of the like recent rumors, like 100 mini dungeons and like major dungeons. Like I think, and maybe completing them in any order. Like, I mean, if the game has 100 mini dungeons that you can find and complete in any order, it has to be massive.
Yeah.
Well, massive. And the new concept art just makes it look huge. Like the climbing concept art, like everything in the background, and I don't know, it has to be massive.
I really and I wrote about the like I reread my Skyward Sword review as I prepped for playing the game for the first time since 2011. Which I will be doing Tuesday morning before we find out about the new Zelda game. Although, actually, I will reiterate that there's a chance I play a little bit of the tutorial before, because or else it's going to be like
I was
3 hours of me just being like, all right, I'm still going through text.
Yeah,
Oh my
like
god,
I might
that's
put
the
an
thing they
hour
have
to-
to fix.
I might
Do
like
whatever
get
you
I
want
might
with
like
New Zelda.
get to the first dungeon, and then like, all right, then that's where I'll start on Tuesday morning.
like at the very least, you should get the sword.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
the
gonna-
shield,
I think
but
I
you
need to
may need
dive
both.
into it before
Yeah,
Tuesday.
because as somebody who very recently went back and replayed that, like I forgot how long the intro part was. I don't know why, because every 3D Zelda, it seems like.
But like, you know what? In 2011, That didn't bug me. It really
No.
didn't.
We didn't? That was like a 2-hour intro.
It's long. Don't get me wrong, but the only like where stuff like that bugs me is on replays. Like even
Yeah.
Twilight Princess. Like, I mean, you're introducing new concepts. It's just that unfortunately, when you go back and replay that, you know all the new concepts already.
That's
No.
why OOT, even with like a 45-minute intro, I feel like it's really tight.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, for Ocarina of Time, and granted, like, I've played that game a lot, I know that when I played Ocarina of Time 3D, I clocked it. I think I was in and out of the Deku Tree by the 40-minute mark.
I'll
And
say,
that's a serious gameplay. You did a dungeon in the
Yeah, and like,
40-minute mark.
and honestly, even if that was like my first time, like, okay, maybe I get lost, like, looking for rupees, or like, what's over here? Like, you're probably out of the Kokiri village by the 2-hour mark at the most. And that's like, you got your first stone, like you met a bunch of characters, you got a pretty good setup for what the entire game's gonna be. Like, you have a boomerang, you jump through spider webs, you burn the spider web, like it's awesome.
That they need to fix. They need to get back to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time's pacing is fantastic.
at the time, like the Skyward Sword intro didn't bother me, but the Twilight Princess one did. Like I did not like the Twilight Princess. Like that, I did not want to keep playing that game, but I knew I was like, man, just keep going because it's a Zelda game. It has to get better. But Skyward Sword, I think, grabbed me better because Skyward Sword is like the first time that like the story of a Zelda game grabbed me like right away, rather than like waiting until Ganondorf or whoever showed up. Like this one grabbed me right away. Like even Ocarina of Time didn't. Well, I don't know. Majora's Mask did too. But like Ocarina didn't grab me right away in terms of story. Neither did Twilight Princess. But like I really liked the relationship between Link and Zelda, and I really liked the idea of we're up in the sky. Like why are we up in the sky? So I don't know. That one grabbed me right away, so I didn't mind the longer intro in that one. But I did in Twilight Princess. I just thought that one's too long, and the stuff that you're doing in it isn't interesting.
Yeah.
Although the goat herding comes back in a big bad way, and it's kind of
And
awesome.
and in the original version, when you had to fish twice, I'm so glad that we only had to fish once in the HD remake. It was just so dumb.
Yeah.
I think.
I hope that I'm in and out of a dungeon in the new Zelda by like the hour-and-a-half mark.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't start with like a town sort of thing. I don't know. There's just something about towns. My personal concept of Zelda does not involve a lot of communities. I want to be out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, look at that concept art, man. What does that look like?
I do want
a mountain you can go to and climb.
I do want like interesting things to do in the world. Like I mean, like Majora's Mask, I think, is the best example of giving you things to do that aren't just like the dungeons and running around in a field. And so I kind of hope that there's more of that type of thing to do in this. Make the world feel alive, like not just a big open field of grass.
I think that's the biggest disappointment with Twilight Princess is I think the open world in Twilight Princess is terrible. It's just that the dungeons are so damn good.
I agree
that
so much.
if you just don't care about the open world stuff and just go from dungeon to dungeon, Twilight Princess is awesome.
There's nothing to do in the open world.
It's not that hard to ignore it.
That's what I'm worried about with this one. Is it's like the open world is really big and it looks really pretty, but what am I going to do in it?
Well,
like,
let's get back to
not
that.
Just like killing enemies.
Well, let's get back to that 100 mini dungeons thing. Like, what? Wait, where did that come from? Like, I've heard it. I haven't figured out where was the original source for that.
I think the first people that openly talked about it was I think Game Explain had a video of it.
I had heard that before Game Explain's video went up, and from talking to people, there is part of me that thinks that the original source for both the Game Explain rumor and what I have heard might be the same person, although like we heard it through different grapevines. If that makes sense, I'm talking a little vague here on purpose, but like everything that Game Explain details in that video, I had heard a couple days before, almost verbatim, which is the whole the fantasy versus technology aspect, the 4 to 5 main dungeons, voice acting, and 100 mini dungeons.
And I remember.
I think that's it. I might. If you can see reflection in my glass, maybe I'll take off my glasses now. I'm gonna look to see what else.
I remember after they put that video up, I think Emily Rogers sent out a tweet that said something to the effect that both she and you had heard similar things.
Yes.
So that's exciting.
So what does a mini dungeon mean to you guys? Because like I think OOT and like they had some pretty big mini dungeons, the ice cave and
I think things like the well.
Those are pretty. Those are almost full-scale dungeons. Those are huge.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a dungeon that takes some time between like half an hour to an hour to complete.
Ooh, wow, that's a huge mini dungeon. I think you're overshooting it.
Maybe you're thinking like the ice thing in the Ice Palace or whatever in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, or like the well.
I mean, like the cave.
Or maybe it's
the blue. Do you get the blue tunic at that ice cave? Well, I mean, maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Or maybe, well, also, like, Link to the Past also had all these caves and places you could go to and points of interest that are not dungeons.
Yeah, and that could be,
a series of rooms.
Or Wind Waker's The Different Islands. Like, that could be an example.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
All right, so here's the other stuff.
That's probably
some
the
of
best
this,
example.
hey, sports fans, some of this, I don't know if it got widely out, but since we're closing in on this. Well, the weather effects, that was another thing, that like there would be weather that would be changing. And apparently there might be different cities, which would piss you off, Carmine, I know.
Well, I mean,
but apparently, like, and this I guess this will be the total proof if this person with this rumor was legit. Apparently the E3 demo will have part of it in a Goron city, and you'll fight off moblins.
Goron city.
But so if that happens, and hey, I gotta talk to this source more often.
Well, I'm not opposed to cities. I'm just opposed to like Zelda being like this thing where you're in a community where you are defined by this community. It's like Skyward Sword, you're always part of that, and you spend like the first 2 hours running around the town, and you know, I'd rather it be like Link to the Past, where there's a town and it's big and important, but you don't start there. You know.
Yeah, to me, honestly, the new Zelda seems like a reaction to. I feel like the last couple of Zeldas have been a reaction to the previous one. Like Skyward Sword seemed to be a reaction to the things that people didn't like about Twilight Princess. Like instead of including a big open empty world, they gave you like smaller chunks of a world to like explore and unlock over time. And then people complained about that, so now they're giving us an even bigger open world to explore, and they're letting us do things in any order, and it's supposed to be, I don't know, like it feels like it's a reaction to the complaints about Skyward Sword, in a way. So
I just need them to react to that like 2-hour introduction. I want a reaction to that.
I want to Link to the Past Land intro.
Yeah, Link to the Past intro.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think that the Zelda team has done, to me, a very good way of responding to criticism. And I mean, that's why I really like Anuma as a developer, because I think that he appears to be the kind of guy that seeks out and is just like, oh, this is what people weren't happy about it. How can I fix this in the future? And, you know, not that he nails it every time. You know, Skyward Sword was more divisive than I ever would have expected. But I just love seeing the evolution of the Zelda games over the years. Like, seeing the 3D Zelda go from Ocarina to Majora to Wind Waker to Twilight Princess to Skyward Sword to whatever's next. Like, all of those elements are so similar, but they, like, tweak them in different ways and things evolve. And it seems like with Zelda on Wii U and NX that this evolution might be bigger. Like, I remember I forget what podcast or whatever I heard this for the first time. I know it was. I can't picture the voice, but I know I've heard someone say this before about how what made stuff like Link to the Past and Super Mario World so incredible on Super Nintendo is because of the delay of the Super Nintendo and the way like Nintendo was making games at the time. Is that Link to the Past and Super Mario World were kind of sequels to games we never saw because of they had so much time to iterate on them. So by the time those games came out, and I think Link to the Past was delayed, I think the Super Nintendo as a whole was delayed, so was Super Mario World, those games were so polished and refined because Nintendo had been working on them for way longer than they anticipated. And the Zelda team's been working on Zelda Wii U for 4 or 5 years.
It's been over 5 years, yeah.
Like, they've probably had a lot of time to like read and react, like see what people said negatively about Skyward Sword, work on that, have a prototype. Maybe there was a tea table flipped. Like I think and I hope. And
I hope.
And for people keeping track of my hype level for Zelda over the past couple months, there was a couple months ago where I was just like, what if it sucks? I'm back in the like I just want to see it. Like I can't wait to see this game.
Can your hype take these swings in like in hype?
I cannot explain how my personal hype level works.
Well, I think it's because like Aonuma has just been so focused on like telling us every time he talks about Zelda, this Zelda is going to be different.
Yeah.
This is going to be different, and for me, like I tweeted this earlier today, but it's like, hey, like I know he wants to make it different, but like 3D Zelda's my favorite game series of all time, so I'm not sure how comfortable I might feel about it being so different. Like don't make it different just to make it different. Like it still needs to be 3D Zelda like at its core.
This is the essential thing. Like there's so much new stuff, and we're excited for that. But then we want it exactly like the old stuff. I don't think we're ever gonna.
I don't want it exactly like the old stuff. I like, but at the same time, it's like Nintendo's never really done like a giant open world game. And those are really popular right now, but none of them have ever really grabbed me. Like Skyrim didn't really grab me. Like Fallout doesn't really grab me. But like Nintendo does this thing where they experiment with a genre that I don't really care for, and they put their Nintendo spin on it, and I end up loving it. Like that's how I felt about Pikmin. That's how I felt about like Splatoon. Like they just do this over and over and over, and so I'm hoping that open world Zelda can be the open world game that I have always wanted.
Whoa!
Bless you, Donald. You alright there?
Yeah, I picked the worst possible time to be patient zero, considering I'm not actually going to E3 this year.
That's all right. I the past 2 years at E3, I've come back. I've come home with big sinus infections, and I'm curious if my body just like breaks at the end of this week. It's just like, no, this is just what you're supposed to do. Because that's how I felt the past 2 years.
You think E3 home team is going to be all peaches and roses, huh?
It's just my body, like Thursday, my body's just going to break down because it's just like, no, this is, our internal clock says you're supposed to die now. If you heard me or seen me on anything on Thursday or later of E3 week the past 2 years, just know that I'm like near death and not accepting it because I'm like, nope, gotta get home. Then I can feel the brunt of it.
Yeah. All right. So Neil, are you ready are we getting ready for Mirage sessions here?
I'm gonna bail on this call. I'll be back in probably 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will let you guys know when I'm just about ready, and then we can switch over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay on until Neil gets back, just to keep conversation and stuff going. But I have to go eat dinner.
That cat is adorable.
Yeah, this is my cat. Her name is Midna. So.
Where can I buy that Mitomo clothing? I need to have it. Hat on the shoulder.
Are you excited for your Zelda or your Link wig or whatever for Mitomo?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting that the classic Link wig required 20,000 retweets, whereas the new style Link wig only 10,000.
Has that gone out yet, or is that like Tuesday?
I think that's going out Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it's Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday
all right. I'm gonna, before I get wrapped into another conversation, I'm gonna leave instead of my Wii U. I'll let you guys know, and then we can switch over.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Mirage sessions. I've got that out.
I'm still pretty early, but it's not like the very beginning, so I should be able to show some stuff. And if I'm very expedient with how quickly I play, might be able to get to the end of Chapter 2, which is apparently one of the big bugaboo censorship scenes. But who knows? We'll see. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peace. All right, so Neil will be back here shortly, and we'll switch over to him live streaming Tokyo Mirage Sessions. But Matt, since you missed most of the conversation there, do you have a favorite Nintendo E3 or a least favorite Nintendo E3?
A least favorite? I definitely have a least favorite. Wait, which one was the one where they showed Wii Music? That's my least
Oh,
That was
2008.
that was
I was
2008.
there.
favorite. Yeah, that's my least favorite. My favorite, I think if I had to pick a favorite, it would be E3 2010.
Yeah.
Like when they announced Donkey Kong Country Returns, Kirby's Epic Yarn, Metroid Other M. What else did they announce at that one?
3DS Kid Icarus
Yeah, I
Uprising.
think
3DS.
Neil was
Uprising.
talking about it too, and he said
Yeah.
2010 was really good on
Yeah,
rewatching it.
they showed Skyward Sword there. That one for me came at a time where I was kind of like ready to give up on Nintendo in a way, like because the Wii era was a weird one for me. It started really strong, and then those middle years, like with Wii Music and Animal Crossing City Folk and Wii Fit, like it just seemed like Nintendo. I don't know. This sounds kind of self-centered, but like Nintendo.
Well, I mean, you like what you like.
Yeah, like Nintendo wasn't making games that I wanted to play anymore for a couple of years there. And so, but then like in 2010 they released Mario Galaxy 2, and I was like, okay, like this is more what I want. And then at E3 they announced, oh, here's a new Metroid game, here's a new Donkey Kong Country game, here's a new Kirby game. Like we haven't forgot. Like by the way, here's your first look at Skyward Sword, and the 3DS is gonna have a freaking Kid Icarus game.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like it was just like okay,
Sorry to
Nintendo,
keep you waiting.
Nintendo, like you got me back. Like you convinced me. Like I'm not gonna sell my Wii. Like I'm gonna keep it. I'll buy this 3DS thing. Like if for no other reason than to play Kid Icarus Uprising. I don't know that E3 like
It was worth it.
to me the 2010 E3 for Nintendo and also the 2014 one. Those are probably my two favorites. But the 2010 one was when I was like, okay, I'm full on Nintendo fanboy again. So.
But then
Yeah,
you have
but-
these peaks and valleys. I think that's why one thing Nintendo has to do is get their planning in order, and they're combining their console and their mobile team, so it's just now one giant team with all the game developers and all the speculation about NX being being a hybrid, so that you can develop when they develop game, it'll hit up both. So I'm hoping, especially since we haven't seen anything from Nintendo that's last like 2 years, that the next one will be a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I think-
it has to be.
Otherwise, what have they been doing all this time?
Yeah.
I mean, they have so many developers. They have to be working on something, and we're not seeing it. Even Star Fox was all the stuff they're doing is being farmed out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just remember 2010 because even the third-party collaborations like NBA Jam coming back and GoldenEye, it's like this conference is being booked directly for me.
Yeah. No, it was so good. I was so happy at that E3.
But I mean,
I'm
ahead.
happy for you guys, but 2008, I loved it.
Yeah. I think
I'm
the
like the only one.
I think Carmine, you're the only one who likes
Animal
2008.
Crossing and Wii Music? Oh my god.
But I think you're right though, Matt. 2014 was really underrated. I mean, that was when they first nailed the skits part of the digital event. Was it ever confirmed that was Chris Kohler that got a fireball in the face when asking about Mother 3?
I don't know if it was confirmed or not, but
I like to pretend that it is.
Yeah.
Because it makes perfect sense. And then you have, and then that was the Smash. I mean, Smash Brothers hype was about to explode. You had Woolly World came back.
Yeah, they introduced Amiibo. They showed Splatoon and Mario Maker. That's when they gave us the first clip of that grassy field that we've seen a million times of Zelda Wii U.
Yeah.
So it was like that was when it was amazing and wasn't kind of a little bit of a joke. But no, I don't know. 2014 was so good. Like that made me feel good about buying a Wii U.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is that all the stuff that they've shown has come out for those at least within 2 years, which I can sort of forgive. But I mean, the
Well,
2010 one, that like all those big games were out except for Kid Icarus within a year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because by November of that year, I was playing Epic Yarn. I was playing Other M. I was playing Donkey Kong Country Returns, and Donkey Kong Country Returns, such a good game, such a good return to form for Donkey Kong. So,
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can get some good money off the sales this week so that I can pick that up on the Wii.
hmm It's
Or,
the 3DS version is really good too.
yeah, yeah. I don't know this. It seems like something that I just want to be able to say, yeah, I got enough gold rewards that I was able to buy Donkey Kong Country at Returns as a download because that's the only way it's available for North America right now. Yeah, but yeah, those were the good times, and then
well,
yeah,
that's why
so
they gotta figure out like a way to make it more even, because we've
Yeah,
got
they
these
yeah,
just need
highs
to
and
be
these lows.
they just need to be more consistent and space
And,
things out better.
yeah, and I mean, they take when you take 5 years to make a Zelda game, you're committing a lot of resources with nothing to
Mhm.
show for it for 4 years.
Well, I don't mind them making
But
making
they
it up.
can't show anything from all those developers, so it's like,
Yeah.
it's almost we shouldn't be surprised that like that we have these droughts because like they're trying to support both the 3DS and the Wii U, and then now you can tell they're not really doing much with the Wii U, which I want to take optimistically as them gearing up for the NX, but there's only so many people at Nintendo HQ.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we haven't heard about hiring sprees, but they're very loyal. They don't let people go. You never hear about mass layoffs either.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
think
heck,
they're going to
even
have a good
what was
stable of
it?
developers for next. But it just
Didn't
comes down to what.
Miyamoto and Iwata like cut their salaries like drastically like when they took
Yeah,
losses and stuff? Yeah. Like that's something like I don't hear other companies doing that very often. You know what I mean? Like that was really cool to me
Hmm.
when they did that. So man, I miss Iwata. What the heck? I beat Pokemon Red last night and like it was like special thanks Satoru Iwata and I was like, man, don't do this to me. Like you can't like just uh like
yeah. I saw the credits in Star Fox Zero with the
yeah
wingman who fell in battle. Yeah, I
yeah
got a little dusty in here.
yeah that's what I said too.
No, it's just my allergies kicking in. I'm not crying.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I think
But
the wonderful thing about like what you just said about Miyamoto and Iwata, they showed like a great like value set for the company.
hmm
And I mean, there's all this talk about like if you look at Nintendo leadership, this Nintendo DNA. You know, when Iwata was first chosen, he was from outside Nintendo, right? He was from HAL. So,
yeah
but they knew that he was a culture fit and that the values would align up.
hmm
That's part of my like fear going forward is like how will the psychology, the values change going forward? Because it isn't really about. I mean, in the end of the day, it isn't about like you know to me, the thing about Nintendo is it's whether it's like on handheld, it's on console, mobile, if amiibo, is it about like it's not so much about that. It's about like the values that they use to drive all those experiences. And part of what who they are is because they have those values and they're willing to delay games and they're willing to make games no one else believes in, and they're willing to like make a shooter, but make it a completely different concept, even though everyone else is making a shooter and making it sort of along the same lines.
hmm No, I mean Splatoon is probably my favorite Nintendo game
Yeah, I think
since Mario
I
Galaxy 2.
and I
So,
think I saw someone on Twitter like say that like looked at data and say that Splatoon was the biggest original IP that was a console exclusive in the last gen, something like that. Like there's been bigger original IPs, but none that were console exclusive in this
That's
current
cool.
gen.
And it's super successful. Like it's super successful. Like I'm really excited to see like if they make a sequel, what is that going to look like? Especially like if the NX doesn't use the gamepad, like what are they going to do instead? Like how is that series going to evolve on the
Yeah.
NX? Like that's something that I'm really interested in.
I'm actually a little surprised they're not going to have. I didn't hear any Splatoon mentions for like E3 or something. Like, would they? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe they don't plan anything drastic. It's just going to be new Splatfests and stuff. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, they have the new amiibos coming out, like the Squid Sisters, and they've got the recoloring of the old amiibo.
I mean,
But
I'm holding out for a single player expansion, more single player missions. That's what I'm holding out for.
I think that's going to be a Splatoon 2 thing. So I think that team, because isn't that the Animal Crossing team too?
the heads are, but I think it's a lot of younger developers at Nintendo.
Okay, I was gonna say if that team's not just working on the NX Animal Crossing, then what they're working on is Splatoon 2.
No, they're
Because that
probably
game's been a massive success. So.
I mean, they're probably working on Animal Crossing for mobile as well.
You think that they're working on that, or would it be DNA?
DNA is probably handling the back end stuff, but I think
Yeah.
I think the team would want to have their thumbprint on this if it's going to be a major Animal Crossing game.
Yeah, I think that is the way it's like arranged. Like they're partnering with DNA, but DNA is more like is not doing like the main game development, and Nintendo's not just stamping IP on stuff.
Yeah.
That's
I
going
mean,
to be an
that's
interesting.
probably for the best, like, because you want those games to be the best that they can be. But for me, as somebody that doesn't really get into mobile games, I kind of would just rather them make like the next real Animal Crossing or like Splatoon 2. But I'm gonna give the mobile stuff a shot because like I want to give it a shot. Like maybe Nintendo, like so many other things, maybe they can convince me that mobile gaming can be better than my experience with it so far. But I'll give it a shot.
It's a completely different beast, mobile gaming, because
Yeah.
like you think even like with a handheld, you talk about bite-sized gaming experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile is even cut down further than that, you know.
Yeah.
And then it has a whole different like.
But at the same time, like Pocket Card Jockey, I think that could be a
Oh
mobile
my
game.
god.
Like
Yeah.
I think that could be a good mobile game. Like it works on 3DS, sure, but I think it could also work on mobile. Like I don't think there's anything that it does that couldn't also be done on mobile.
I think it already is a mobile game in Japan. They
Is
just
it?
haven't brought it
I mean,
up. They just haven't brought it west.
that makes total sense to me, especially since it's a Game Freak thing too. Like Game Freak has been a little bit more adoptive of mobile, like before Nintendo. So like they put Pokemon Shuffle on there, and they have that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Pokemon Shuffle's also on there.
Yeah, yeah. They have a Pokedex app for mobile as well. I think.
Yeah,
So.
but I think a lot of those apps though are getting shut down pretty quickly because they're not taking right. Because I mean, I think on mobile you have to come up with something new that can get people's attention.
Yeah, mobile it's a completely different thing, especially if you're pursuing a freemium model, because then you're talking about. I mean, all of Nintendo right now is like boxed sales, right? They sell one unit, they make this much money back, so they know how many units they have to sell and stuff. Mobile, you can have millions of users, but they've all got the game for free, and you need a certain percentage of them to pay money, and you need a certain percentage of them to pay this much money. It is a completely different business model, which makes for completely different games and experiences.
Like I think for mobile, if you're going to go with the free to start model or whatever, I think your gameplay hook has to be super addictive.
Yeah.
Like because otherwise people are gonna pick it up, maybe play it for a day or two, and then they're just gonna like. I played Miitomo for longer than that, but I think most people, I think they were done with it in like a week or two. Because I think for most people, it just wasn't addictive enough of a concept. So like, I mean, like the stuff I think that Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing could potentially be really good on mobile. I think that those series have enough addictiveness to them to be successful on that platform. So it just depends on how they do it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm still playing Mitomo, like maybe not as religiously, but at least like
Mm.
I'm trying to like max out my points and everything. It's like I'm totally buying into the My Nintendo platform and everything. It's 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 nice because it's different, but it definitely doesn't have that thing that you see with other games where it's becoming dangerously addictive.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of games right in the mobile space right now where they feel a lot. Certain games can be like MMOs where it's like you never want to put it down. Remember, like the
Yeah.
first time you played an MMO, it's like I never want to put this down. It is an addiction. It's not just like really exciting to play in a tight game loop. No, it's an addiction. It's like an
Mhm.
addiction level stickiness.
Yeah.
And that's where maybe like I have played a couple mobile games where I've spent money and I was looking around for those for a while and then I finally found one and it is like, oh my God, this game, the way it works, where you're competing in real time against other players, I don't want to go to sleep because I might get attacked in the middle of the night. And this is
Mhm.
unhealthy. And I'm spending money in this game
Mhm.
trying to keep up with the Joneses. So it's a
Yeah.
completely different feel. I was having a lot of fun, but the only other time I felt like that was when I was considering doing like high uh, end level rating in MMOs, and I was like,
Mhm.
this is becoming less about me playing a game and more about like the neurons firing in my head saying I have to do this.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a certain fun in that, but I don't know if I want to necessarily be that addicted to anything.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I think unless like the Fire Emblem game is like really really good, I can't see myself spending money on a mobile game. Like I'll just wait for the timer to reset or
Uh-huh.
like whatever.
But at the same
Uh,
time, you're willing to spend like $30 on a 3DS game, sight unseen, period, pick it up and not have played even a demo of it.
yeah. I mean, it depends on the game, but like,
Depends on the game, but there's a
but
lot of
Fire
games that
Emblem,
pay
the
that
Fire
sort of
Emblem,
money.
yeah, yeah, because well, it's also because like for Fire Emblem on mobile, I could spend, if I got really into it, I could spend way more than $30 or $40 or whatever, because like I have to keep paying to play. With the 3DS game, it's like a one-time $40 price,
Uh-huh.
but I know I'm getting the whole game with that one-time
Yeah,
$40
yeah.
price.
And it's only up to like me if I drop it at like 15 hours and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
well, no, I have the whole game.
yeah,
I'm just not playing it, but I still own
exactly.
it. It's
And,
it's a different beast. Mobile gaming is a completely different beast. It's going to be
mhm,
interesting to see what Nintendo does there because one of the things
yeah,
I really like about it is that, like you said, they take this thing that you think is already
mhm,
solved. It's always going to be like this, and they put a spin on it, and all of a
yeah,
sudden, what's old is new. It's this
yeah.
whole new thing,
And
and
I
that's
want them to be successful, like because I want them to have another outlet of income. You know what I mean? Like a profit.
uh-huh.
Because like if it for whatever reason if NX tanks, and if their next handheld tanks, it's like man, they're in a bad spot. So like
Yeah,
their endeavors in movies and theme parks and mobile, like I hope it's successful for them. I want them to succeed. I
yeah. I mean,
don't
I
want
don't.
them to.
I don't think we. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I want Nintendo to be successful because like I want them to keep making games and
Hmm.
making the weird choices they make. They don't need to take over the world for that. They need to be able to like just keep doing what they're doing and being able to like
Yeah.
make a business out of it.
Yeah, they just can't keep losing money. They have to be profitable. And so I hope they return to. They keep saying we want to return to Nintendo-like profits. Like I hope that happens for them.
Well, I mean,
I hope
everyone
that.
wants to return to Nintendo like profits.
Yeah, like
Like everyone wants their thing to print money. I
yeah.
think definitely this past couple of years, like with Amiibo and I feel and the new Nintendo have selling faceplates and themes. One
Mhm.
interesting thing is I feel like Nintendo and even the rest of the traditional gaming industry is converting more to monetizing the existing user base deeper. Because now you buy a game and then you buy the season pass and you've spent like $90 on the game. And now everything has limited editions where those didn't really used to be a thing. They're finding ways to get their existing customers to pay more, you know. And I mean, that's part of why DLC is a big thing too. So I sort of don't know how I feel about that in the sense that it's, I can see if I want that limited edition, I have no qualms buying it. If I want to pay for a more single player Splatoon, I have no qualms. But at the same time, it's sort of weird to think they have to do more with less.
I think
All
Neil
right.
is ready to stream. So
Okay,
I
so
realized that my camera's off. It's being used in OBS right now.
There's a
uh,
voice
I'm
in
gonna
the
jump off here, but
Yeah.
I will be back later for the.
Okay. All right,
video
and
streams.
Carmine and Donald, you guys are gonna chat with me while I play.
Yeah, I'll jump on
Yep.
Skype.
All right, then I will.
All
I'll
right.
start my stream.
and we'll
Okay,
stop
see
the
you.
broadcast. So we'll see you on the other
Peace,
side.
guys.